Welcome to this week's episode of Reprint, brought to you by the Temple News. This is the podcast that covers stories in depth from this week's print. My name is Ariana Droz. I'm the podcast editor here at TTN, and for today's episode, the very last of the year, I will be chatting with some of our graduating staff members about the essays that they wrote for our Commencement special edition. Yeah, let's chat about it. So we have our lovely editor-in-chief for the first time this year on Reprint. So Sydney, I loved your piece. Tell me a little bit about what you wrote and why you decided to write about it.
Thank you so much, Ari. I'm happy to be on. So I think when I was looking into past editor-in-chief essays, especially, I was looking at a lot of tone setters and really positive leadership-oriented pieces, which, I understood as a concept, but I really just could not pull that out of myself. And I don't find, emotional vulnerability something that's easy, so kind of finding the honesty in me to be like, well, my piece cannot be that, because I cannot make a genuine anything. I probably could not write more than, 200 words of, wow, I did it, and I'm so proud of everything I've ever done, and I did learn a lot being a leader here, but it was definitely not the tone my year took. So I basically write a lot about, I don't use the words, but a prolonged depressive episode I had this year where I lost a lot of joy that I had for writing, specifically journalistically, and it manifested in a lot of bad habits of really just trying to seek any kind of joy that I could, and missing a part of myself that I felt like I had developed for 7 years, which was to become a journalist and report news and be a pillar of my own community in that right. So a lot of honesty there about saying this is where I'm at. It's not perfect. I did achieve a lot, but I'm mostly just looking to find passion again, I guess.
Yeah.
So big bummer.
No, I mean, I could definitely tell it was a very heavy piece, but I do think that there's something to be said about the honesty and about the emotional vulnerability that, you just putting yourself out there, especially as our leader, we all are, looking to you for guidance all year, and there's a lot of pressure that comes with that, I'm sure, just, being responsible for the paper in general and for a 40-person staff. That's a lot on a person, plus a full roster of classes, yeah. So I don't know, no, I think this piece was just so honest, and I just think that it speaks so deeply to, how hard we can be on ourselves, as writers and probably as, creative people in general.
I believe that 100%.
But I do like how you touch on, reminiscing on your start in journalism, looking back to your 13, 14-year-old self and, seeing the passion that you had and kind of just, talking a little bit about your journey. Do you want to go deeper into your journey as a journalist? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, because a part of the emotion in this piece definitely comes out of believing that I had something at 13 that I maybe don't have right now. When I went into my last year in middle school, so 13 years old, I joined our middle school paper, which is not so much a paper as a collection, a classroom where we kind of just looked up stories and we're like, wow, I really like the fact that we're looking for life on one of Jupiter's moons. I'm going to write about that, which is one of the only stories from that phase of my life that is online and searchable. I found that I really liked learning and sharing that information in a more accessible way, talking to people that I never would talk to otherwise. I was a very shy kid. I think I'm still a shy kid at heart. How kind of the thesis of this is that, we're not really a different person from who we are at that point in our lives. So, then I went to high school. There's an intro to journalism class, which is probably one of the most foundational parts of my life now and set me on this path. Where I eventually then got into our newspaper and became the editor-in-chief there. And, I kind of always had a very sureness of this is what I'm meant to be doing. This is what makes me happy. This is what makes me a better person and pushes me to my limits. It's something that's hard to do. and I get satisfaction out of doing that. And so then, coming up to where I'm at right now, where I've lost that satisfaction, and it's something hard that I'm not accomplishing, is, a shocking thing to kind of realize you're going through.
Yeah. The ebbs and flows of creativity, right?
Yeah, for sure. Even if I like to think, I've said this before about myself, I don't think I'm a very creative person. I think I lean way towards like hard news, like going to a city council meeting and like reporting on what that is like. But no, like there still is creative aspects in like how you write and how you talk to people, and creating anything is creative. But yeah, like experiencing such a big ebb is shocking.
I think there's also something to be said about giving yourself grace to experience that ebb and like explore other things in your life, and then maybe come back to writing. I mean, would you say that this is your comeback to writing, this essay, this piece?
Yeah, I mean, no, you're 100% right, and that's also something I struggled with. Like, I actually quote a part where I'm, like, really mean to myself in a diary entry, which is this basically the whole piece was just paraphrasing the diary. But, yeah, I'm trying to find the kindness in myself right now to write something like this, publish it, which is not something I'm used to doing. Like, that is hard. Mm-hmm. That's a hard thing I've now technically accomplished. And find it somewhere. I mean, I'm looking at more journalism-related fields. Like, I did really enjoy, this is not to say, like, I had a really depressing year. I have really enjoyed my role as editor-in-chief of this publication. I've loved working with everybody. I say in the piece as well, like, I've really loved guiding people and helping them find their final draft. So, any advising type roles, education, or otherwise, there's a lot of fields I could start going into, but I think the big thing is that I don't want to believe it's black and white. Like, I don't have to give up right now, or I don't have to 100% find a job right out of college that is exactly what my 13-year-old self thought I would be doing. Grace is definitely super important.
Yeah. So, keeping in mind that this is a very vulnerable and at times emotionally heavy piece, what would you say the best part about writing the piece was?
That's a good question. I think, like I kind of said, I usually write very strictly. Journalism has a lot of rules that are very important to follow for various reasons. So this kind of finding out how I'm portraying myself in what I feel is my voice with all these things I've learned and what I haven't learned, that was pretty enjoyable to me. And actually, I'll share a little behind the scenes. So this past Sunday night, so coming into this last production yesterday, I did not sleep at all. I drank 1.5 Monsters, which I usually have any caffeine, so that kept me through the entire night. And I spent like maybe a quarter of it writing the rest of my essay, and the other half of it was returning to this like fiction concept that I came up with maybe like 3 years ago, so like freshman, sophomore year. And I just kind of started writing some of that. It was like a horror book that I had the idea for. And kind of realizing that I have gained strengths in things that I had no idea. Like, I really don't think I am a super strong fiction writer. Like, that's an entirely different skill set. But seeing that I've grown in my writing ability, my imaginative ability, and then kind of just blurting that out into a page of, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
For caffeine, late night, no sleep.
That's the best way to write.
Stuff. I guess. I'm figuring it out. See, I'm learning stuff right now. I think this process made me realize that I have grown. Like, I've not gone stagnant. I haven't necessarily lost something, even if it does feel like I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing to realize and to acknowledge. I want to know, what is your favorite memory from TTM in general, or attending Temple?
Oh, let's see. I think I find it a little hard to come up with one big memory.
That's right.
Just because that's not actually how I live my life. I think I have a lot of pretty nice days consecutively rather than like big events. So I'll just say, like, even though I always expect it to be like super miserable, every single print production I've had this year where I get to the end of the night and everybody has completed their stories, and I'm just chatting with my own senior staff about how it's been, how they are. They're so funny. I love my senior staff. Just getting peers into their life, and my favorite part of this whole job has always been learning about people. So I guess being surrounded by everybody in this whole room has been just my favorite part of the year.
That's good.
I love it here.
Do you have a piece of advice for your graduating peers or for others who are watching the pod today?
Yeah, I don't think I'm the absolute authority, but if I were to say anything, I would say give yourself grace. Don't look for your job as something that's going to be the entire rest of your life. Your life does not have to be your job, certainly. And while getting a job will be hard, metrics for when you get a job out of college are like at least like the first 6 months, so it's not going to be successful right out the gate if you don't have anything locked down right now. So I would say just be reflective about who you are and what makes you happy, and I think you'll figure it out from there.
Cool. Thank you so much, Sydney.
Thank you so much, Ari.
Yay. Hey, Ryan. Thanks for joining me on the pod for the first time ever this year. For the first time ever, I have a senior staff, stacked episode this week, so it's nice. So I loved your essay for Commencement about your brothers. I thought it was so cute and sweet. So tell me about the essay, and then tell me about what your writing process was like.
Yeah, so first I would just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
And also thank you for having me on. It's real. I love it. This is so cool.
Yeah, this is my little...
I love this is so tough. I love this. But my essay was just me. The best way to describe it is just middle child syndrome, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I have two brothers, one younger, his name's Ethan, 3 years younger than me. I have an older brother named Jay, he's 7 years older than me. And we're all very, very alike. We all hang out all the time. We all same personalities, all crack the same jokes and everything. Me and Ethan, we looked up to Jay for much of my childhood. He's 18, I'm 11. I'm I want to do what you want to. I want to do what you do. Mm-hmm. And so it was really just about me just getting comfortable with what I'm doing now, because my older brother, he's an actor. He was acting middle school and high school, went to college for it. My younger brother ended up doing that when he got into high school, and I kind of struggled trying to just be a part, be a part of that, because they're all very similar, went to the same schools, so everyone kind of expected me to fit in that same vein. I just wasn't that, and it was just really me just trying to figure out, this is what I want to do. How can I be myself without me, as people are always just making me feel I should be doing one certain thing. Mm-hmm. And so getting here at Temple, I was a decent writer and started doing journalism, low key did it, put it on my application because I didn't think I was gonna get bored doing it. Mm-hmm. And I ended up joining TTN, doing everything here, and it's become a big passion with me now. And it's really cool seeing us as we're older. I'm 22 now, my Jay's 29, Ethan's 19, and there's just kind of sense of pride as we're all kind of just doing our separate things. So that's been really, really cool.
Yeah, I would love for you to tell me more about your decision to go into journalism. What was the moment that you were oh, I'm kind of interested in this? And then also how that path kind of just gave you your own space to express yourself, aside from what your brothers were doing.
Yeah, so I kind of got into it. So I had a high school English teacher. Her name was Miss Bannon. Love her. She is one of my biggest inspirations at this point. And I am where I am now, I still text her every now and then, occasionally. And so I had her for English my sophomore year of high school, and I was getting time to pick classes for my junior year, and she's like, yeah, I have a journalism elective, like, do you want to do it? I'm like, yeah, like, I'll do it. And so I just kind of did it with two of my friends, and for my junior year, and like I just got like hooked. Like I just like being able to write about like what I wanted to do, what I wanted to write about, and just like in like my own like style, where it wasn't like I was just like writing like an essay. Like I always like kind of hated like that. I could like do like little like short like one sentence graphs. I can do like write like how put my personality into it and write any way I kind of wanted to be. And so that's how I kind of got hooked with it. And I would start to get more serious with it. And like my senior year, she kind of pulled me aside. She's like, Ryan, like you should like actually like do this. Stop like just like dragging your feet a little bit. Like do it. Like I can tell that you actually really like it. So I kind of got more involved in that, like doing my high school paper. Kind of came to Temple, got involved with the Temple News my second semester of freshman year. And that's kind of like how I got, and it also helped that my roommate, Colin Schofield, won the co-sports editor this year. He was my roommate, so we kind of like, just kind of like fed off each other, and always wanted to like continue like improve and like do everything. So like having him also really really helps me kind of like get more involved in there, and it also just kind of helped because like I was like kind of like just struggled trying to figure out like what my niche was growing up sometimes. Like played sports for a little bit, but nothing, like wasn't gonna do nothing crazy. So, and I always saw how excited like my brothers were like doing like whatever they were, and I was like, I want to have like something like that. I want to have like my own like little thing, and it's really just helped me just like be like, this is what I love to do. Like this is like a big passion. Like this journalism become a big passion for me, and like being able to like see that and like talk to like my family members, but being like, yo, this is a story I wrote, or like I went to this event. Like it's always been really cool, and I've like loved it.
Very cool. What was the hardest part about writing this piece?
Probably the hardest part is always just like being vulnerable a little bit.
I was gonna say you had a bit of like, you did have a good amount of like emotional vulnerability, which can scare a lot of people, especially when you know it's going out in print in the world. Yeah,
literally like especially like talking just like about my childhood, like just like talking like just like going back and like being like, oh snap, yeah, I remember we would like wait for my brother to come home just to like play video games with him. Like I would stay up past my bedtime like and hope that like we would like sneak into my brother's room and like play video games with him for a little bit, or like sometimes he would pick us up from school, and my mom worked at the same elementary school that me and my younger brother went to, and we would like walk past and like the teacher's lounge, try to like take food from there. And so like going back, like that was kind of like going back and like trying to like undig those memories, and like that was like one of the hardest parts. Like, oh snap, like I forgot like that happened, and just like being vulnerable, like just like how I felt, because like talking about emotions like very hard, like just like speaking wise. So like having to like write it, and like people are gonna be reading this, like I don't even know them, like they might not even know me like personally. So like that was kind of like one like the biggest struggle, like kind of like one of the biggest struggles, like okay, how much do I want to talk about, what do I really want to say here. So that was something.
Yeah, but I think it was really sweet of you to talk about how important those like sibling connections are to you, especially in a piece where like, you know, we're looking to graduate and like you're looking towards your future, but you're also holding all of those relationships close to you, which is a beautiful thing. Are they coming to graduation?
Yeah, they'll be here.
Sweet. Yeah. Just a little bit of wrap up questions. What is something that you're gonna miss most at Temple or at TTN?
Oh,
either or both.
Honestly, just like being here, like just like in the news. Like this is my third year on staff now, and I spend a majority of my time just like kind of like in here. Like my sophomore year, we would me and like the people on like Declan was the sports editor, Johnny Zwislak was the assistant sports editor, and Jason Neves was the sports media manager at the time, and we would hang out in the newsroom to like the wee hours of the morning playing Family Feud, or like watching TV in there, hang out with John DeCarlo, like, and like even like hang out with Colin Sienna, like last year a sports session, like like sometimes we would just stay in here like making like pitches, or, like just like hanging out, and like I'm gonna miss that, like kind of like just like sense of community. Like I've met some of my like closest friends here. It's like being here is gonna be really weird. Like not being here is gonna be really weird. Kind of just walking in, like poking in John's office to see if like, is he here? Can I talk to him real quick? And him always coming up and giving me a hug. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be some. It's gonna be something. So I'm gonna miss that.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's a good thing to miss, right? That you had it. What's at top of mind for you as you're graduating, which might be helpful to your graduating peers?
Just kind of like, let me know if I'm on like the right vein. Like, if I'm answering the question like the way that you would like.
No, you answer it however you want.
My biggest thing is like, I think a lot of us are like, we're just kind of like nervous, like what's like next and everything. Like it's okay that like it like something might not come right away, or like we're gonna hear a lot more no's and yeses, and just like don't like take that to heart. Like it's gonna be okay. We're all gonna figure stuff out. Wherever we are destined to be is what's going to happen, and just don't let us. We shouldn't get so wrapped up in like the here and now. Just like figure it out. Stuff's gonna come. We're only like 21, 22 years old, and like nothing's ever permanent and nothing's ever gonna like stay like the same. So just like being like just like true to ourselves, and just like knowing that like everything is going to like find its place, and like the place like the everything's gonna set, like nothing's set in stone right now. That's probably my biggest thing. Nice.
Perfect and beautiful. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Let's talk about Bradley's essay. So you wrote about music.
Yes.
And kind of like navigating adulthood, but also I felt like it was navigating adulthood with a piece of your younger self always. So tell me about what you wrote and why you decided to write about it.
I was actually, Logan wrote a story about cranes in the sky, about how music changes as you get older, and that unlocked something, because for a while was like, oh, I really want to write about Control, because that's like, everybody has an album you found at 13 that carries with you until you're like 37. And like if you go on Twitter, people are constantly like, Control hits the exact same at like 35 as it did at like 12. And I was like, it really does. And I don't know, I just wanted to explore that a little bit and get into it, because it was like, it's an album that means a lot to me. And it's something that I've been like unintentionally looping a lot in the past couple months, because like I need good luck on my 20-somethings, you know? Mm-hmm. And then I started thinking about Lorde too, and like melodramas. Like I found them like within the same week of each other when I was like listening to music on wired headphones and like on my middle school Chromebook.
I was gonna mention the Chromebook mention as someone who grew up in Philadelphia. That was important to me.
I was in middle school English class reading like Call of the Wild or something with like melodrama pulled up on my YouTube. Me and all the other like queer girls that I hung out with at the time all had the melodrama album cover like plastered across our screens.
I love that. That's a great experience. Yeah, so I feel like as I was reading your essay, I felt like there was something to be said about like what you were kind of talking about experiencing, and I felt like it kind of goes with what we call growing pains. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that is correct?
Yeah, because like there's I hate doing this, but like there's a Taylor Swift lyric of like how can a person know everything at 18 but nothing at 22? And I'm not 22 yet. I'm only a couple months away, but I'm not learning anything more in that 2 months. So I was like, because like going into this year, I say this in there too, of like I thought I was gonna graduate. I was gonna like know what I wanted to do, because I thought I knew like going into this year, and then you realize like you kind of just have no idea what you're doing, and like especially now when like everybody my age is like, I can't find a job. Mm-hmm. It would be like not correct of me to write anything else other than like growing up is really hard. This is really scary, because I think it's really easy to just be like, I've had a great time at college, because I have, but like the actual commencement graduation is very painful. Mm. And I think people don't talk about it enough. So I wanted to like, and you did it very well too.
Oh, thank you.
Because like even like you with the horror movies and stuff, like it kind of does feel very much like that. And like, not to get too intellectual on the pod of like Ginger Snaps being like a movie about like how growing up and like being like change like physically is really painful.
Yeah.
Like using that as like a graduation like essay like center was really, really interesting and cool.
Wow, thank you. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even draw that connection when I wrote it. Ginger Snaps is just genuinely one of my favorite horror movies. Well, because of like what you're naming, of just like growing up. Growing up sucks and it's hard. And, you know, obviously there's the metaphor of the werewolf and going through that transformation. But.
Yeah, because like I remember I saw that movie right before I graduated high school.
Oh.
And I was like, this is everything. This is exactly how I feel all of the time. And when I saw that in essay about like, graduation for college, I said, exactly. Precise.
You know that scene where it's like the opening scene. She's like on the fence and the fence is like through her. Yeah.
The one that Sabrina Carpenter copied for the music video for Tears, I think.
Yeah. I resonate with that.
All the time. Her, like, in that green bathroom. I texted you about that. Of, like, the green bathroom where she's just, like, vomiting blood. Like, exactly.
Exactly, yeah. I want to go back to your essay, though. And I want you to tell me about how music, specifically these two albums, have gotten you through these growing pains and how they're currently doing that for you now. The way that you've interacted with them and the way that you're thinking about them, has that changed?
Yeah, so music is always like, I say this all the time, music is like the first thing I've ever fallen in love with. Like I'm an English major, but like the way that I think about art, I don't like books that much. I very much prefer like music and film and stuff, but like music specifically. And those two albums were like the ones at 13 where I went like, this is what music sounds like, baby. And every single day, like I choose to like listen to like one person or one album and like for what fits my mood. And those ones, I think, like, I've always felt like they were, like, very true to, like, how I feel about aging and growing up. And that was, like, when I was 13. And these people are very much thinking about how it feels like when you're 19 to 22. And now that I'm between that age range of that hellish stage of being mature, they just resonate, like, that much deeper. Because you just, like, learn so much about yourself. Yeah, and I've just, like, felt them a lot deeper recently, especially melodrama. I don't know what about it. It's just, like, it's so filled with, like, angst, and, like, now that I can actually, like, go out and, like, drink and stuff, I resonate with, like, the party aspect of it a lot more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but...
No, yeah, it did. And how do they serve as, like, a touchstone for you? Because you discovered them at 13. Like, do you feel like that brings you back to when you're 13 and you're like...
Weirdly, no.
No?
Because I think, like, very, very specific things do that. Like, unfortunately, like, Melanie Martinez does that for me a lot. I don't listen to her anymore, but, like, sometimes I hear her out in the wild. Literally. I'll hear her out in the wild, and I'm, like, immediately transported back to, like, 12 years old in, like, a gym in Germantown. But, like, no, I think they just, like, end up, like staying with me. Like, I don't... Because I, like, adapt to them, and they, like, change meaning to me all the time. And, like, they just kind of work. Like, I never actively say, like, oh, I want to listen to these albums right now. Like, my brain just, like, itches for them. And then I go, oh, I'm about to get, like, real emo in, like, a week because I'm really craving, like, Control or whatever. I don't know. They kind of feel like almost, like, parental in a way, I guess. Mm-hmm. I say all the time that Lord raised me. So... That's just how they've ended up working. Yeah.
Tell me about the best part about writing about this piece.
Having it done. Honestly, I
think you said that last time I asked you that question.
Well, because I've had the concept of it since like December, I think. At least like the very last like portion of it before I decided to write about music in it. And then once I like thought of like my entire college experience has been dedicated to like music basically. It's like it's like I'm just kind of like it's my thing. So and then I was like, wow, I'm talking about 2 albums in 750 words and my graduation experience. That's a really hard thing to do. So I like wrote it, turned it in, and then when nobody read it, actually I'm changing everything. And then did that like yet again. So it was just like once I was like finally done and happy with it, it was like it was a blessing, honestly. Mm-hmm. It's also like bittersweet because it's my last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mostly scary that it's my last one. But
So, yeah, tell me about your favorite essay that you wrote for TTN.
Ooh.
I know you've written a lot.
Yeah, I've written a lot. My ones recently, probably because, like, when I was actually, like, having to write them every week, it was, like, I was just writing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would, like, find, like, I would be like, okay, pitches are due Thursday. I have earrings. Let me write about earrings. And they were good. I'm so proud of them. But probably the one I wrote about my mom earlier this year, just because that was really sweet. Because the print issue came out on her birthday, so I, like, forced everyone to put that essay in print and then gave her, like, the actual physical edition. Or the long one that I wrote about Miss Davis, just because that was, like, an emotional one, and it was just interesting and new for me.
Yeah.
And I liked that one a lot.
Nice. And last question. Do you have a piece of advice or something that's sitting at the top of your mind that you would want to pass on to your graduating peers or other people who are watching the pod?
It's okay to flop. I say this all the time. It is so okay to flop. Like, I remember, like, I'm not flopping by any means, but, like, in the sense that, like, graduating college, no job that requires a degree lined up, still living at home with my parents, you know, it's fine. There's a lot of people that are like, and I've come to terms with recently of like, you're 22, like you should be like moving out, you should have like all of this stuff. Nobody knows what they want to do. Not a single soul. And also like, don't go to grad school because you don't know what you're trying to do. That's the other thing. So many people are doing that. Just like,
It's
find
another
peace
thing to do.
Find peace within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go walk in a park. Find a hobby. My off season, I'm going to be doing absolutely nothing until September. I will not be thinking about job applications or anything. I'm tired.
No, yeah. It's time for you to relax.
Exactly. I'm going to read so many books, listen to a lot of new music, watch a lot of new movies, and it's going to be wonderful. And I might have an existential crisis or two, but that's okay.
It's all part of
exactly.
Not the plan, but it's all part of life. You know? It's all part of life.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
22 is the hardest year of your life. I've heard.
23.
Listen, 22 and 23, I've heard, are satanic. And, like, don't expect, like, embrace that. Embrace that everybody that's 22 and 23 has no idea what they're doing. It really makes life a lot easier.
Precisely. Beautiful. Thank you, Bradley.
No problem.
For
Anytime.
our last episode.
All
right, let's talk about Julia's essay. So, yeah, I really liked your essay. Do you just want to tell me or tell the pod what you wrote about and why you decided to write about it for the commencement issue?
Yeah, I had from a young age just always like loved sports. I mean, I had been playing softball, I played tennis, I played basketball. Like, my family was just, we were all really into that. So when I got older, I started to realize that, like, oh, I think I want to maybe, like, pursue a career in sports. And that came with a lot of challenges within itself. I mean, one, just being, like, a woman interested in sports, I was kind of already isolated. So I felt like me wanting to even go further into a career was even harder because, again, it was just like, it's a male-dominated field. And being a woman in a male-dominated field, whether it's sports, if it's medicine, like, it's automatically a boys' club that you're excluded from. So in my essay, I explained some scenarios and some situations that happened when I was younger that kind of I had to navigate through and realize that, like, oh, wow, like, this is going to be tough to get into this career. And then specifically, I really wanted to write it for my commencement piece just to prove, like, all around that, like, I'm 22 years old. Like, after 22 years, I was able to land. I'm, like, next month I get to start and I'm working in the NFL. So to kind of prove to everyone else, I know, I'm dropping it here on the podcast.
Congratulations.
You heard it from me first. Yeah, I get to move to Detroit and work for the Lions next month. So I just wanted to kind of show everyone out there and to any women who is in the any career field that is male-dominated that, like, you can absolutely do it. And just don't shy away from the stereotypes out there.
Yeah. I want to highlight, like, some of the scenarios that you put in your essay. specifically the one where you were in a class. Was it an STHM?
So this was my junior year of high school.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so I was even younger.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, that's crazy.
Yeah, in that situation, that's such a funny one to share. This was like fall of 2020, so it was during COVID. My school was hybrid. So because of that, we went every other day, and the class I was taking was a sport management entertainment course, and it was taught by a male teacher. And then because it was a hybrid course, I was the only girl in those in-person days. So there was other girls in the class, but they were online. I try to specify that, but I really did feel like the only woman. And although I talked about this teacher in the one situation, like, he had made multiple points throughout the semester. Like, this was just one that I wanted to highlight, but he really did go out of his way. I can, like, still remember where I was sitting. I remember the conversation. Like, I told it exactly how it happened, of him asking, like, it was a silent classroom. Of course, no one wanted to answer. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. Like, no one, I'm sorry. It's not because, like, no one, like, didn't know the answer, but he just went out of his way to say, like, oh, like, Julie, like, do you know who that player? I'm like, yeah, I do. And then I just, like, listed off, and it was just, like, very isolating, because I don't know if there was another girl in the class, like, would he have done it to that girl? Or if there was no other girl, like, would it have just carried on and been nothing? I just think it's so funny, because I just know that, like, not a single person from that class can probably think of a time that they were isolated by him, like, other than me.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you mentioned, like, after that experience, that's when you kind of were like, okay, now I have to like, stand my ground and, like, stick up for myself. So now that you've had a few more years of experience and now you've been in college, I'm assuming that you've come across these scenarios, you know, again and again. So, like, what does sticking up for yourself in these situations look like now?
Yeah, I think the climate of women's sports in general has, like, really grown in the past few years, and that's, like, due to players like, you know, Caitlin Clark has really helped with the WNBA, same with Angel Reese, Aja Wilson, and same with, like, you think about, like, tennis, like Naomi Osaka, there's a lot of, like, female athletes that have been able to gain a lot of recognition, so that's helped grow, like, female sports a lot. Mm-hmm. So I've caught myself a lot of times having to correct people, and it's kind of intimidating, because, like, and I have to do it sometimes with, like, my friends or my family whenever they say something that I'm like, I don't think we, like, you know, maybe, like, 10 years ago you could have gotten away with that, but, like, now we can't say that. And so it's just learning how to politely correct people and be like, well, no, like, that, you know, NFL anchor, like, she actually went to a great school and got a great education, and she's been at this affiliate place. Like, she absolutely knows what she's talking about. And just, like, it stinks that you have to, like, kind of prove that, but, like, it's better than just ignoring it. Mm-hmm. Like, you kind of have to continue the conversation. So that's what I try to do now with, like, the people in my life. And they've been really understanding. So that just shows the age that we live in now.
Yeah. So how do you feel now, like, as a young woman now, how do you feel when you think back to, like, teen you, like, sitting there?
Like, sitting there in any of those, like, situations that I spoke about, just, like, sitting there, both were, like, academic situations. I now am, like, very grateful that, like, I'm in at a university. Temple's been so great and so opening, and, you know, Klein College has been, you know, our new sports media major, just so many, like, female professors that I have had. So I'm so grateful that I can, like, look. And I hope that, like, Teen Me knows that, like, there are people out there to support you, and that I come from, like, a really small town in Pennsylvania. So, like, I didn't have access to, you know, those types of resources that I do now. Mm. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to choose Temple and gain the access to then pursue these future opportunities.
Yeah. Well, starting for the NFL fresh out of college has got to feel really good.
I know. I moved right after graduation, so yeah, I mean, I'm so proud of all that. It was a lot of hard work for me to, like, get there. I mean, there's no doubt that I'll have some imposter syndrome, but I get to work with a lot of female out in Detroit who are extremely experienced, and I'm really grateful to, like, learn from them. And they have a lot of initiatives of, helping and improving women's leadership and retaining and pulling in more women into the field of sports.
Yeah. More about like the piece itself. What was the best part about writing this piece for you?
It was a really great reflection to see wow, how young was I, and how everyone else around me, and I guess this might not be the best to say, but looking at how much the trajectory of female and women's sports have grown in just the last, I think even 6 years, because I've had conversations with men and women in the last year that have been very deep about females pursuing careers in sports and just women's sports in general. So I'm so proud that we were able to kind of move on from that time, and I hope childhood knows that it's not going to be perfect, and I'm sure 20 years from now we'll still be having conversations about improving female numbers in the field, but it's gonna take time.
Yeah. No, but you should be proud of yourself and all your hard work, for adding to that.
Appreciate it.
You're doing important work. That said, is there something that you'll miss most about Temple or Philly in general, since you're going to Detroit? You said, right?
Yeah. I'm moving from one city to another.
Yeah.
So it's not I'll be missing the city aspect, but Philly's definitely become my home in the last 4 years, and so much of Philly's become so natural to me, whether it's taking the SEPTA or where I go grocery shopping. So I'll definitely miss that community that I've been able to grow the past few years. I mean, as I kind of said, Temple's given me so much when it comes to my academic opportunities, but there's definitely no doubt that I've had a lot of personal growth here. I mean, I think anyone in college can admit that they are not the same person when they walked into the door. And there's been so many people along the way who have helped me, whether that's professors or people that I've worked with at my internships, people here at the Temple News. I would be not the person I am today without all that.
And last question, do you have a piece of advice or something that's at the top of your mind that you might want to share with your graduating peers or anyone who's watching the pod today?
My advice, this is hard. I'm in a really fortunate role where after graduation, I do have job security. I know that not a lot of people do. So I can't say I feel your pain at all, but I can say that there is the right opportunity for everyone out there. It might not be what you want right now, but it's going to be what you get. And I think that any opportunity, any job, any internship, you will get something from it. Whether you hate that job, you learn that you'll never do it again. Or if you love it, you learn to continue with it.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. And congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Ari,
Hi.
welcome to your own show.
Oh, God.
How does it feel to be over there?
I'm not mad at it. I don't love it. Somewhere in the middle.
Well, she's right here because alongside our wonderful senior essay spread, she also wrote a great piece.
Thank you.
Probably one with the most stark openings, for sure. Real attention grabby. It's a really nice spread on the paper because it's a really sweet graphic of her with butterflies around her. First line, blood curdling screams, sound of bones snapping.
To be fair, I did ask for the visual to be the butterflies and the smiles before I decided to open the essay with that.
Fair. But you could have made it work. It's very allegorical piece. So we'll go into it. I mean, please tell me, what was your thought process writing this?
Yeah, honestly, I was gonna write from a completely different perspective. I was gonna talk about just dropping out of college and taking a gap year, and I kind of alluded to that in the essay at the end, but I wasn't connecting with what I was originally writing. And I was I hate this so much. So actually on Sunday I was I scrapped the whole thing and I started from scratch, and I was thinking about the final girl thing, and just horror movies in general.
Fair. And we'll clarify, the article is focused on what? Like, what was your rundown of your own essay?
Yeah, so I kind of talk about my love for horror movies and the trope, the final girl, which is the one who uses her wits and her determination to get out of a bad situation or to escape death. So thinking like Laurie from Halloween is one that I mentioned, and also the one that I mostly wrote about was Maxine from the X series, because she does happen to be one of my favorite final girls. Yeah.
Yeah, and so then thought process, Sunday night.
Sunday, yeah. So Saturday night, I was like having terrible writer's block. I was like, I hate everything that I'm writing for this commencement essay. I'm going to message Sydney and say, like, I'm not going to write an essay anymore. And then I kind of just gave myself the night. And then on Sunday morning, I woke up and I was like, okay, I gotta get this done. And I don't know why. My intuition kind of just led me to talk about horror movies, because that's just something that I love to talk about. And I kind of just ran with it. And my writer's block went away. So, yeah.
And so those traits of, like, tenacity in these women spoke to you in terms of getting out of COVID, coming into school with not necessarily the plan you thought you would have. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah, my college experience did not go the way I planned at all. I was supposed to graduate a couple years ago, if I had stayed on the right timeline, which is also like, what is the right timeline? Like, you know, whatever. But yeah, like I went through a lot after graduating high school and like coming into like the world, trying to like figure everything out, which is already hard enough as it is. Like as an 18-year-old, you're like, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? But on top of that, like everything is just like uncertain, and we're like quite literally living in unprecedented times. So I felt like I really had just no foundation, and I was kind of just like free falling, and it didn't feel good. Especially because I had this plan, it was going perfectly, and then boom, like, you know, like rug pulled out from under my feet. And there was a lot of logistical and practical hardships that came with that, financially, and just like where am I going to live kind of thing, because I was in New York. I was not in Philly anymore. And then also the emotional hardship that came with that too was really big for me. Yeah.
So seeing it pieced together, being in a scary situation that you really have no clue when the next turn is going to come in.
Yeah.
Getting to here anyway. You know, you're about to graduate.
Yeah, and I feel like I really fought for it. I didn't want to come back to school. So, yeah, I ended up coming back and, you know, finishing it out despite not wanting to at first, not knowing what I wanted to do next, because I felt like my original plan was just like fully out the window. And I like through it all, I actually found community. I found things that I'm passionate about that still have to do with like kind of what my original plan was, which was music and writing. I still write for fun, and obviously sometimes creatively for things like this. And I still I'm very involved with like music, just in different ways. Like I'm not going to be the one performing, but I'm doing things that, are on that path. So, you know, finding my niche was like, it was hard, but I did it. So now I'm finally graduating, not on time, but still doing it nonetheless.
I would say graduating, finding your niche, finding your community, that's
big things. Yeah, those are the big things, right?
That's huge.
Yeah.
Awesome. I also, just going back a little bit, so what was once you hit the, now what turned out to be the actual concept of the piece, what was I'm trying to debate if I want to say best or hardest thing to write the piece. I mean, was writing that final version still hard?
Honestly, it was easier than I thought it would be. I think that I think the hardest part was my existential crisis of me
Sure.
being like, it was like an existential crisis about writer's block. And I was like, what is actually happening right now? I hate everything. But coming out of the other side of that, and literally like Sunday morning, I wrote the whole thing in an hour. And I was like,
Nice.
okay,
That's how you do it.
maybe I don't have writer's block. I don't know. I think I was lucky to have that intuition kind of like speak to me, and then also smart to follow it. And I think that I speak to that in my piece of just like following what feels good and just like seeing where it takes me. And it took me to a piece that I'm proud is in print now. So, yeah.
No, exactly. I mean, you put in that great quote about not accepting the life you don't deserve.
Yeah.
Which I think is also just a great thesis, especially if that's something you follow throughout your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Well, at the general end of your graduation journey, what's your favorite memory from, I don't know if you have one from the Temple News, you've only been here a year, but we can go Temple as a whole.
Gosh. I'll say my favorite part about Temple is probably being involved with the radio station, because I feel like that was such a launch pad for me into so many other different things. And I feel like it gave me the confidence, and I don't know, it just like ignited like a passion in me. So definitely having my radio show and then staying involved with the station and becoming a director was my favorite part of Temple, yeah.
Absolutely. We have had an absolute deficit of WHIP shout-outs this year.
I know.
So shout out to WHIP. What's your piece of advice for our fellow peers graduating?
This is going to sound so corny or cliche because I wrote it, or I quoted it. Don't accept the life that you don't deserve. Don't settle for less. Don't be dumb about it, but like don't quit your job and like go like off grid having no plan, but don't settle for something that you don't want, because your life is short at the end of the day and you only get one of them as far as we know. So live a life that you love, because it's yours and you deserve to love the life that you live.
No, stick the landing. That was good. All right. Well, great job, Ari. Congratulations.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Reprint. You can find these stories and many more on our website at www.temple-news.com. You can also follow us on all socials at The Temple News. I'm Ariana Droz. It has been such an honor and an amazing year covering all of the stories that I have gotten the opportunity to, and thank you for having me as your host.